All right, so the clip you're about to hear is from the K-Fabulous Lucha Brothers Wrestling Show, my wrestling podcast I've had since 2014. Me and co-host Brandon Draven discuss all the great pro wrestling stories and also cover classic shows as well. You can look us up on Apple iTunes here, the K-Fabulous Lucha Brothers Wrestling Show. We've done 226 now episodes, including the newest episode, which is out now, which is talking about the AEW situation with Punk, the Elite, and the drama behind that, behind the scenes, plus a review of Clash of the Castle and All Out. That's available right now. And make sure you leave us a review. Look at all these 5-star reviews. There's tons of them. So make sure you check us out. I'll leave a link down below to not only this episode, but also to the Apple Podcast link. So check us out. And now let's get to the clip, which is basically Brandon Draven, who is a psychotherapist. He's a psychologist, actually, a PhD in psychology, discussing what he thinks Tony Khan should do about this situation with CM Punk and AEW and the Elite, the EVPs. If you were Tony Khan, because remember, you have a complex. We're have to do some abstract thinking here. Mm-hmm. He is your top guy. He is your champion. Putting the belt up again would be a mess, but you may have to do it. How do you discipline these guys? What do you do with Ace Steel? Knowing that if you cut Ace Steel, which I think he should be fired, Punk might also walk out. Do you demote the Young Bucks and Kenny? What do you do to resolve this? Suspensions? Like I've been thinking about this all day, pretty much, of what I would do, and I'm not really sure what I would do, to be honest.
Okay. Well, let's tackle this one step at a time. And every time we come to a solution, let's look at the big picture and let's try to talk a little more about the future as well, because that's really where TK has to do at this point. First of all, it depends on, you have to have a thorough investigation. You have to get all sides of the story, which is possible, I believe, and that's why there's lawyers and the cops are involved.
And witnesses there. There's witnesses.
If Ace Steel had any kind of, not because Ace Steel is a horrible person, because Ace Steel is in management. Management should not be acting like that, especially with the people that they're supposed to be supervising or helping. So if Ace Steel if the stories that he did are true, he's gone. He's gone. No doubt. You have to make an example out of him. You have to. Anything less than that, and you're going to go right back to ground zero, okay?
And I just want to say that the reason as to why you're saying that is because if Tony Khan does not make an example out of him, then other people, what you're basically telling the roster is you can do whatever the fuck you want. And
you don't care about them.
It's going to get
worse.
That's
what you're telling them.
Right.
Let me tell people what boundaries are and the misconception of boundaries, okay? People think that they're allowed to do whatever they want, and we take away that ability that we're being bad people. That's not what we're doing. We're protecting people from themselves. We do that all the time. And not only that, this is where it becomes important in a company like AEW. Your actions, TK's actions in this entire scenario are going to be seen by the entire roster, the entire company. Depending on what he does, the entire company is either going to they're going to feel like they've been heard and protected, or they're going to feel like nobody's in control. Those are the two options that are going to come out of this. In order to do that, you have to discipline somebody. In this case, it's probably going to be Ace Steel because he needs to go, okay? If CM Punk, for whatever reasons, wants to pull up his card, like I'm leaving with him, you cannot allow him to blackmail you because guess what? Now he's got leverage over you. Now, every time he doesn't get his way, he's going to threaten to walk out. It's not going to stop with Ace Steel. So two things are going to happen with Punk, eh? If he wants to go, let him go. It's a loss. You have to rebuild. Vince McMahon did that many, many times. He did that with Warrior. He did that with Steve Austin in 2002. He did it with Hogan. He's not scared to allow this to happen because
these are big stars too.
Because he knows that there's other stars. He could create more stars, okay? You cannot allow, because blackmailing doesn't stop with that one event. Blackmailing continues after that event because the person
and you don't want to end up in a position where you're at the mercy of somebody else when it's your business. You're paying this man millions. Does he deserve it? That's not up to me to decide.
And remember, he's also leaving the millions behind. So we
don't know how his contract is structured, but you're right. In theory,
it's not going to be structured to get paid while you sit at home because you don't want to work.
Right.
TK has lawyers to fucking dismantle those contracts, bro. Like, it'll be like, you want to walk away from $1 million or plus to protect this guy who started a fight, who showed to be not very professional, go ahead, walk away then. But you're also walking away from whatever I'm paying you.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you rebuild.
He's got to rebuild. Yeah, I agree.
Yes. Now, hopefully CM Punk, now this is where CM Punk's intelligence comes into mind. CM Punk is going to try to test that. But if TK calls his bluff, then CM Punk's going to have to stay, and he's going to have to just say, sorry, Ace. I mean, it is what it is. And we see that happen all the time in all kinds of businesses. You know, Ace fucked up. He's in management. He shouldn't have done that. He needs to go home, and he's fired. And CM Punk could say he's going to go with him, but at the end of the day, CM Punk has his own family, and I guarantee you he'll come back. He can't walk away from that kind of money.
Well, he's already set for life, though, from what he said. It's still a lot of money, though. I mean, you're right. He's getting $5 million a year. He's getting $5 million a year.
Yes, more. You're gonna make more, especially when you're only working once in a while.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, what about maybe suspending CM Punk and stripping him of the title?
Well, you would have to strip him, but because I mean, I would definitely do that. Because think about it, like the EVPs, other than being pricks, they didn't do anything, bro. Other than being gossipers, like that's not against the law.
Yeah, that we knew of. They didn't deserve to be. That's the point I was trying to make. Is that I was saying that earlier. Even though there's heat on the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega from other wrestlers, they didn't attack. From what we've heard, and again, maybe the details are wrong. Maybe Punk didn't hit first, but we understand Punk was the one that started swinging, bro.
But even if they are gossiping and even if they are protecting Cabana, like that's not against the law, bro. That doesn't require disciplinary action. That's just them fucking being gossipers and, you know, sewing circle motherfuckers. That's all. But you do want to talk to them. Like you do want to, like TK should sit down and say, you can't do this because this is the consequences here. You know, if you want to protect one of your boys, you come to me and we'll talk about it. You can't sit there and try to go to Alvarez or Dave and tell them, oh, Punk was the one that told, you know,
John Ross Sapp, yeah.
Oh yeah, one of your favorites, to tell them that.
Yeah. No, but I see your point. Like you can't. But they're saying that it wasn't them, so they might be off the hook then. Because if Sean Ross Sapp and Dave both say that the Young Bucks weren't the ones that told him that, then they might be off the hook when it comes to that part of it. Maybe Punk just assumed it was them.
But here's one of the problems with the internet. That, like, see, as me and you are talking about it, and we're kind of taking little details into consideration, the internet is like this. They saw a big argument between the Elite and CM Punk, and in their minds, because remember, the internet's very, very concrete, all or nothing. It's like, well, they all should be punished. Well, wait a minute. Like, there's things that are more illegal than others. Like popping somebody in the face, you can't do that. But
throwing a chair at a guy's head.
But you could gossip behind people's back. There's nothing illegal about that. Like, it does it make you a prick? Yes. Does it make you an asshole? Yes. But it doesn't. There shouldn't be a fucking suspension. And that's all I see here is like the Elite. They're friends with Scott, right? Scott Colton. They went whatever. If this is true. They spread they spread the bullshit about him. It got back to Punk. Punk's upset at them,
right.
and that's why we're in this mess. But you can't, you know, both injustices don't have the same weight, you know, especially because maybe Page should be suspended because he did do something in public. He did cut a promo without actually, you know, getting authorized to cut that promo. Okay, let's go with that. Maybe suspend them for a couple of weeks without pay because I feel like that would be good reason to. But other than that, nobody else has done nothing wrong from that side.
I mean, why wouldn't you have suspended him back when he first did it? See, like that's you know what I mean?
Well, this would have to be all retroactive because because TK's a moron, bro. That's why he should have done it when he should. I just told you that he should.
Right.
He should have turned off this fire before it got out of control.
Right.
But now that he didn't, he could still make it right by retroactively suspending him.
Right. And so with Punk, you're saying keep the Elite as EVPs, though. You're not going to demote them.
Well, we have to. They have to have a conversation. There has to be new boundaries set.
You're right. Yeah.
You know.